live. Welcome, everybody. Brandon's in the house. We got the camera working. You can see everybody. Hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. So welcome to the November 28th. Brandon's in the house. We got the Monday 28th. Thanksgiving is our past weekend. Packers play tonight, so hopefully we'll still. But they suck this year, so people should watch our show instead of the Packers. What do you think, Ryan? So the Eagles. Are you an Eagles fan, Brandon? You're from Philly, right?
The opposite side of the state.
No,
he'd be more of a Steelers fan if he was going to be anything.
I was closer to Buffalo.
Brandon's close to Buffalo, so Brandon's really tired today. He's kind of grouchy today, so that's okay. We're gonna give him a hug.
Grouchy, I'm a realist.
He's a realist. Brandon's a realist. Brandon's not a big fan of indoor polling, so that's okay. We got to keep everybody. Going. That's okay. So, but the Facebook page has really taken off the last 3 or 4 days. So, had a lot of action on that. So, thank you for all the people that have been tuning in and different things like that. So, I think if you hit the refresh button there, we can get everything going. So, we're going to give Miles Krieger a call in a little bit, guys. We're going to talk about National Farm Machinery Show. I checked the webpage a little bit ago. They haven't updated the full list yet, but we did get invited. The Beer Money polling team will be down there on Thursday night, and so we got 8 comments already. So, I wonder how we can keep up with those better. So. Hanging out in Bermuda.
You have to click on the video, or it won't scroll them live.
Yeah, I want to see him live. How do we do that so we can see him live like that?
On your phone.
It's only on our phones? Cowboys are where it's at, Jason. Cowboys are hanging out in Bermuda. Hello, Jason.
That's like what, once every 20 years for
Greg
the Cowboys?
Parker's in the house even tonight. Holy cow. They're chilling with us all. So everybody's decided to listen to Miles. We're going to pit Miles a little bit on his farm machinery show selections, how he did that. Uber in West Virginia is a little different.
I bet the weather's a little bit better in Bermuda right now.
I'm guessing it is. We've had 2.5 inches of rain here in Richland Center, so
yeah.
A lot of different things.
I told you we're going to have a lot of rain. So
Jason from Platte City, Jason Hill, he told me to smile. So what do you think of the new studio, everybody?
Yeah.
So we kind of shared a little bit last week in HD. We need Jason Hill to send us a picture of his truck, and Misty Lustig she's going to send us a picture of the Silver Bullet. This is going to be for sponsors. Hint, hint. So if you want to give us some real American dollars, we'll put your logo up there and talk about your business and stuff like that. So I got a lot of things going on. Jeremy Quell's checking in for Madison. Brandon Daniels says hi. Who else? So no more rain, please.
Sent Sassy Racing Engines one of my videos today. They wanted to use it at the PRI show.
Cool. So we shared the chicken people thing last week. Sassy Racing. Brian Knox was on there. I didn't realize he was such a perfectionist. But you got to be the racing engine thing he is. Yeah. But so the PRI wants to use one of your Sassy Racing Engine videos.
They're going to the PRI show, the performance racing.
Sassy is?
Yeah.
Okay.
And they wanted to use my video of my friend Kelly's bullheaded truck that I posted this morning.
Awesome.
So if you scroll back through today, check that truck out. It is 48 or 55 Ford with a 496 Sassy.
Can you bring it up on the Facebook page?
Sure.
Scroll down. We can do that. Brandon or Ryan figured out how to do that a little bit before we get going in the show too much. And
I put in the email, by the way, we don't have any Sassy Racing Engine stickers on the Beer Money hauler. So
we don't have any. So I'll check that out. So we scroll down a little bit on the
Let's
on
find
the
it first page. Here.
Go to the Beer Money page there. So hopefully everybody's having a good night. We're going to get the show started here. We are started. It's officially started.
Yeah, we're officially started.
What are we doing there?
This is the pre-show, I guess.
This is the pre-show of the real show. So it's all good in the hood.
I'll bring this up front on the screen so they can see it here.
Yeah, I shared a Banner Brothers video. The Legends page, somebody put up a whole bunch. I think Kevin Dick put a whole bunch of videos up there yesterday. Here it is right here.
Yeah.
Right here?
Yep. So if you click on that, I'll shut up. To the crowd. That's a good way to get our show started here tonight.
Yeah,
so
no, that's
a good point. So,
381 feet he won at the Canfield Fair, the big co-sanctioned pole dance.
381 feet. So, very, very cool. Very, very cool. So, all right. So let's fire this baby up. You want to play our intro here and we'll get this show started. All right, everybody. My name is Jason Schultz. Got Ryan Zolik next to me. Brandon Johnson. He's our Facebook wizard. Ryan and I. Ryan, what are you? You're our engineer.
Yeah, camera guy, engineer,
engineer,
whatever
we
all
call
around. makes the show, I guess,
What am
keep
I?
going.
What am I? I'm the host.
I don't know.
Kind
You're
of.
like the third leg.
I'm like the third leg. Fair enough. That means so many different things, Ryan. Welcome, everybody, to Let's Grow Pulling Live, hosted by the Beer Money Pulling Team. My name is Jason Schultz. It's Monday, November 28th. They're gonna call Miles Krieger here in a few minutes, and we always wrap up here on out every Monday night. We're going to have Clint Tucker on as well. Clint's going to talk about Friday, day 2 of Gordyville, and Clint had a big post on about
It's big news about the
Pro Stocks. So I want to talk about Red Hoss Supply a little bit before we call Miles. Dion Bliss has got Red Hoss Supply going, and he is going to be the official Beer Money Pulling Team merchandiser for us. Going to be having our T-shirts and our sweatshirts online for us. And he's starting off with the Silver Bullet gear. And Ryan's going to bring up his website here in a little bit. So if anybody's doing Christmas shopping, go to redhosssupply.com. Got some good prices on T-shirts and sweatshirts, and you can get yourself a Silver Bullet toy as well. T-shirts looks like they're $20 to $23. Sweatshirts are $40 to $45. They got white ones, they got pink ones, and they get a Silver Bullet toy tractor as well for $40. So don't know how soon the Beer Money Pulling Team gear is going to be up on his website, but I've been talking to Dion on and off for almost 9 months now. He had a really busy summer. He goes to a lot of the major polls, Toma and your Bowling Greens, and does a lot of different things.
A lot
like
of different
that.
stuff
But,
here on the website as well.
He's going to be offering this to a lot of the pullers, but he's told us that he's going to work with the Beer Money Pulling Team, and we're really, really excited about that. It has great stuff. He does the Gordyville shirts, and the Remedy has made the Gordyville shirt this year, so we're excited about that as well. But start off with, obviously, one of the most popular pulling tractors in the world, the Silver Bullet. We're good friends of the Lustics. The Lustics are big fans of the Beer Money Pulling Team, and we're excited to promote this for Dion, for pulling, and it's what pullers need to get their merchandise out there. We're not, Brandon and I have been going back and forth on this. How do we sell more T-shirts? And it's just tough. Brandon's great with Facebook and the pictures and the videos, and I'm good with the promoting side of it and the show, but we're not T-shirt guys. We don't know how to do this, and we've experimented with all these different things, but it's not who we are, and I'm really excited about getting our gear up there. So we encourage the fans to go to redhosssupply.com, check out Dion's website. You can get some Silver Bullet gear now before the holidays, and we'll let you know as soon as the Beer Money Pulling Team gear gets coming up. So did a live video, Ryan, of us getting our letter for the National Farm Machinery Show. I was taking a big chance. Didn't know if it was going to be an exception letter or a rejection letter, but I thought, you know what? We've always put ourselves out there here at the Beer Money Pulling Team, and I'm going to walk out to that mailbox. And I was setting up the office here, and I was looking out the window, and I saw the mail lady go by. And on Wednesday, I heard Indiana and the southern states had got theirs, and I thought, Friday, kind of had a good chance of getting ours on Friday. And I thought, what the heck? We're gonna do this. And I walked out the mailbox and saw that manila envelope in there, and sure enough, it said from Mount Vernon, Kentucky, I believe is what they said that, and opened it up, and sure enough, we got invited. So, we got to spell Miles' name right. He'll get mad at us. I before E except after C, unless you're a Krieger. That's how we do that. So, we got to spell. Got to pick on you a little bit. So, let's get Miles on the phone. Let's get right into it. So, if you want to plug me in, we'll give Miles a call and get going with everything he's expecting us to call him. We'll jump right into it. So thanks for joining us here for another edition of Let's Grow Pulling. Monday night, we're on here every Monday night from 7 to 8 Central. We're going to get Miles on the phone. We're going to talk some National Farm Machinery Show. I'll be announcing with Miles at Gordyville as well. And we're excited about doing that. I'll be working with Jeremy, working with his dad, and just a lot of good things going on there. So we'll get Miles on the phone here. There we go. Do you need to unplug your mic, or did you do that? You got it figured out now?
Yeah.
Cool.
Hello.
Miles Krieger, welcome to Let's Grow Pulling. How are you tonight, sir?
I'm doing very well. How are you, Jason?
Good. We've been bragging you up a little bit, so we're having the great Miles Krieger on the show tonight, so thanks for joining us.
Oh, don't do that. Don't hype me up too much.
Okay, we won't hype you up too much. But hey, good to talk to you again, sir. It's been a couple months. I text you often. We Facebook message and different things like that. So how was your turkey day?
Good. Went to Dad's house and got to spend some time with him there and catch up a little bit. And the weekend was full of spending some time with my girls and my wife, which was good, much needed after a busy cross-country season this fall, and announcing a couple of cross-country meets to kind of end the season. So it's been a pretty hectic season here for me.
Yeah, well, hey, so the reason we're having you on the show tonight, because you did your National Farm Machinery Show predictions, and we were hoping that the Farm Machinery Show would have posted them by now, so we could kind of compare your predictions to the actuals, but they're not up there yet. We need the Farm Machinery Show to do like the big reveal, like the NCAA's do when they the brackets. That'd be kind of cool, Miles. If you could do that for them, that'd be neat.
Well, I've pitched that idea to some of the folks there with hopes of producing kind of a show and doing some reveals over the course of 3 or 4 days, and just haven't really been able to get that done. There's a lot of different kind of things that have to be taken in place there with the event being owned by the state of Kentucky and all the different powers that be. It's not like your typical poll. It's a lot more than that. It's a lot more challenging just to kind of throw an idea together and pull it off like we can with the road show at some of the events that you go to. But that's also what brings so much of the prestige to it is that it is different, and there is so much more to the show and the element of the background and the landscape of where the poll is. I mean, Freedom Hall and the Kentucky Fair and Expo Center, one of the largest shows in the North America, and so it's a huge venue and a place where people come from all across the world to check out farm implements and things like that, and then they just so happen to be there to watch pulling. So, the prediction thing is really what kind of launched Miles Beyond 300. It was something that I used to do for my friends in the two-wheel drive class, and I would just kind of predict amongst us who I thought was going to make the field, and as it got a little deeper, then I kind of launched my webpage, and so that's kind of actually what sort of drove Miles Beyond 300 to even happen to begin with. So the Farm Machinery Show has been a big part of my life growing up in the Louisville area, and being around my dad as he's announced the show for over 40 years. It's definitely been my favorite poll and my must-attend kind of thing over the last several years, and there's definitely been no person that's probably been more critical of the event. There's also not really anybody I don't think that appreciates it and loves it as much either, as it's just been something that's been such a big part of my life since I was little.
What we're doing right now is we're talking to you, Miles. We're putting your website right up there, so the people that are watching the show live on Facebook, Ryan's scrolling down through there and showing everybody your website. It's really done. Jesse posted a really, really nice job with it, so kudos to him, and you've really taken it to the next level. And the prediction contest was really neat, and you did a good job of sharing them all to the Beer Money Pulling Team Facebook page, and it really gets people excited. And you hit it right on the head with this being a true invite. Like I know for my class, I heard 65 4-1s applied for our class, and they accepted 15. It gives it that level of prestige. To get invited, it's a big deal. And whether you like the reason they invited it, it feels like, Miles, for the first year for our class that they really went down and just, if you were a points champion, that's what they look like they picked this first year. And it almost kind of makes sense for a first-year class like ours. It'd be tough to pick 65 tractors because, honestly, 40 of those 65 could easily be in the show. You know how tough our class is. And for all the classes at Louisville, you know what I mean? Everybody's so good. It'd be hard for that crew. How many people actually sit down in that room and narrow down? Do you know is it 4 or 5 people, or is it 30 people, or do you know how many people actually are part of the selection committee?
Well, the committee itself consists of 3 people.
Okay.
And that's Mike Witt, who has just been, he's kind of the face and the guy who's really, really been involved in it. And those 3 committee members are the ones that everybody knows. Now, there might be more. I know Justin Atchison and some other guys are really close with those guys and work pretty closely with them. Whether or not they're involved in the selection process, I don't know. But when it comes to Louisville and making those decisions and the things that need to be kind of put in place, the people that are on the hot seat, the people that are right there to watch the successes and the failures of anything that goes on are Mike Witt, Danny Christiani, and Gail Mefford. And Mike is the guy who makes the decisions during the show, gets the track, the sled set, and tries to keep things moving. Danny is, he owns an excavating company. He owns several companies there in the Louisville metro area, and because of that, he is responsible for bringing the dirt in to the facility, taking it out of the facility, building the track and then working the track during the context of the show. And so Danny's a former pro stock puller. He and his son Danny Jr. had a tractor called the Gotta Go Deer, which was a John Deere 6030, and they ran for many years. Mike Witt, famous, of course, for all of his years driving the Stomper monster truck, and Gail Mefford was a puller in his own right as well. So when you put those three guys together, there's a lot of knowledge and a lot of years invested in the sport, and they do a good job. They do a good job of going to quite a few pulls and their research and seeing who's participated through the course of the year and who's performed well at the bigger shows. And it's not uncommon to see them attend some of the larger PPL shows or some of the larger NTPA shows just to kind of get an idea of what's going on. And certainly from their perspective, each year they're trying to choose about 220, 230 vehicles to fill the slot, and they end up with over 600 applicants. And with that, I mean, it's a very, very challenging task to be able to narrow down and make selections. From my perspective, when I do predictions, I have to start with a criteria that I just put in immediately, and that's a finalist is automatically back. And then I start with PPL and NTPA top 5 points getters, outlaw champions. Then I go back to PPL and NTPA, and if I need to fill in the rest of the classes with space, I will do it with Badger State champs, Ohio State champs, those types of guys, ITPA. And then so that's when you look at my predictions, that's just kind of been the way that I was unbiased and was trying to be just each year follow the same sort of rubric or protocol that I would have. And then each year I knew when I went in, I was going to be at least relatively close to the previous year of how I picked. And occasionally I throw, 4 or 5 at-larges in there. Those at-larges are former champions or somebody who I think has performed well at Louisville in the past, who may not have had the best year or whatever, but still probably earned the right to be back. And I followed a similar path and with the limited pro stock class this year. Being its first year, I really kind of weighed heavy towards the 2 PPL larger series, the Silver Series and the Western Series, and I put a lot of those guys in. So if you were to look at that class, nearly 10 of them, I would say I put in from those 2 series. And what I've heard and learned from just messaging back and forth with people who have been accepted and so on is that what you had said, you were going to have to be a national champion or a state level champion in your own right to be able to make the cut. And I think that's something when they went in, you've got 60 some odd spots for 15 applicants for 15 spots. You've got to have a rationale to go out and just kind of be able to discuss and look through. And I think that was the way that they chose. And, you look at the 2-wheel drive class and there are some new faces coming in, and I think that's good for the show. People that have been there in the past are great, but the fans want to see something different as well. And so not just with a new class like the Pro Mod 4-wheel drive trucks or the limited pro stock class like you guys coming in, but also seeing some different vehicles within the course of the classes that have been around for years, I think really makes a difference in just how they, get to show and watch different vehicles come down the track at Louisville. I'm excited to see some new faces myself.
Too, that they moved the diesel super stocks to Friday night. It's never made sense to me that they had them on Wednesday night. With the diesel supers to me being, one of the biggest and baddest classes in the nation miles. And we had Colin Ross on the show last Monday night, and he was really excited that they were, get a pull on Friday night. So what do you think about some of the format changes that they made with the classes?
Yeah, I mean, I think the committee and the fair board and all of the powers that be knew that they wanted to make a few changes, and I think they've done a fantastic job. I hope that the fans and even myself, I mean, I consider myself a fan of that poll first and foremost, and like I said, there's probably been nobody who's been more critical of it than myself, and so I hope that I can look at it and say, hey, you know what, they made changes, and those changes are here, and let's enjoy the show and the difference and what they're bringing. And so for me, kudos to them, and I love the fact that there's just going to be something different going on there. And I think, that's good for the show. It's good for the people. And it's certainly good for people like yourself and competitors like yourself who go out and campaign all summer long and deserve the chance to be at such a unique and special and and prestigious event like the Farm Machinery Show. The four-wheel drive trucks were there for many years. I grew up watching the four-wheel drive trucks there, and then when they brought the diesels in, they made a change. And I think fans have really liked the diesel trucks the last couple of years. The first few years were a bit of a struggle, but they've really gotten things ironed out, and they put on a whale of a show. So I think, each year, they go back and they kind of evaluate things, and like I said, just kudos to them for what they've done and the changes that they've made. And, you talk about Colin, and obviously he's a buddy of mine, and proud of what they were able to achieve this year. You go back and you evaluate and you look at a full scope of the year. Gosh, not very many blemishes on that resume from 2016 for them, so I'm not real sure what they'll do for an encore.
Right. Yeah, it'd be tough. It's tough to follow that up. Tough to follow that up completely. One of the questions we had on Facebook was, are you planning on doing your contest again for the on miles beyond 300 to predict the winners and the classes and stuff like that?
Absolutely. Those contests are they're just as fun for me as anybody. My brother and I started that years ago. I was living in Missouri, and we'd just fill out an Excel spreadsheet and send it back and forth to one another, and kind of use it as our picks. And it just kind of has grown from that and evolved, and now the fans can participate in it. And I've had some great support from sponsors who have helped me, like Dennis Perry and the guys at TS Performance who donate products, and Brent Payne last year from GMS donated a full video series from the weekend, and so there's been a lot of great sponsors and people who have helped to try to entice and make more people participate in the contest. So last year we had, I think, around 700 or 800 applicants who submitted a ballot, and usually it comes down to the pull-off distance to win. We do a tiebreaker of how far did the Pro Stock winner run, and usually that's our tiebreaker, both in the Bowling Green Ring Prediction Contest and in the Farm Show Pick'em Contest. So absolutely, that deal will launch sometime in early February. We'll put it up on the website and let people have a chance to submit their entries.
Eric Pruitt just asked a question. What do you think about having 4 classes on Wednesday night? We got Pro Stocks, modified four-wheel drive trucks, super farm tractors, and modified tractors starting at 7 o'clock on Wednesday night. I was talking to Randy Brew today. He's got the Tool Times 2 Pro Stock tractor, and he was wondering also about that. Because in the past, we've had 3 classes per night, right, during the week?
Correct.
And it looked like maybe we're starting a half an hour earlier. Yeah. Does that sound right, Miles?
That still was like 11 and 12. That was still between
That's
11
right.
and 12 when it got over.
Yeah. So what do you feel about all that?
Well, I think I think the format change is something that, and this is just from my experience with Tucker and working with Tucker at Gordyville and some of those things. It's difficult to nail it on the first night. So I think fans being there and with 4 classes, the smoke tube, and really trying to get the track worked in and all of the different processes. I think Wednesday night might be the kind of just work things out night. But with the Pro Mod 4s and the mods, you have 2 classes without the smoke tube, and so I think that helps you with a little bit of a buffer. And without all the smoke coming from the diesel class, the smoke tube shouldn't be overworked really until the Pro Stock class starts to come. And I know last year they made some significant changes or plans coming into this year with regard to preparation with the smoke tube. So, I think last year was a fluke deal. And, I'm not anticipating it being much later of an evening. I think they'll work things out, and they'll kind of let the guys know at the drivers' meeting that there's going to be X amount of hooks, and they need to push through and be ready. And from that perspective, fans will be able to enjoy the variety. And I guess from my perspective, kudos to them. I don't want to be critical and tell them, hey, what are we thinking with this? I think it's really a good idea to mix it up and bring more in. So they're bringing more vehicles in. If they decided to not do that, well, what do? Do they cut a class, or do they not have the 4-wheel drives, or do they cut Super Farm to 1 class, or how do you handle it? So
it's tough.
From my perspective, perfect idea. Let's bring the 4-wheel drive trucks back and give them a chance. And I think in the long term of things, I don't really know how many you'll have, but from the modified class, and looking just at how many had applied that I know of, you're probably around 12 or 13. Now, if they fill the class, that's great. Typically, they'll have 15 or 16 in that class. And then in the modified four-wheel drive truck class, if they bring 15 in, sure, that's more. But if they only bring, say, 12 in, and you only have maybe 12 mods, then realistically you're only 24 hooks between those two classes. And then if you have 30 in the others, between the other two classes, it's only 54 hooks, and you've only added, 8 or 9 hooks on the night compared to where you would have been with 3 classes at 15 or 16. So, in all reality, it could just be that we're only talking about 30 minutes or 40 minutes more pulling and seeing an entire class.
Right, and like we talked about earlier, they're starting a half an hour earlier each night, and we did discuss. They are Wednesday night. They got 4 classes. Thursday night they got 4 classes, but each of those nights only 2 of the classes are smoker classes. Because on Thursday night,
I think
Miles,
that sometimes.
Let's see here. On Thursday night they have. Let's see. I'm waiting for my website to open up here. Thursday night it's Super Farm, 2-wheel drive Super Mods, Super Stock Alkies, and then Limited Pro Tractors. So 2 smoke tube classes, 2 non-smoke tube classes. So should be able, like you said, keep things moving. Friday night 3 classes, Super Modified 2-wheel drive trucks, Super Stock Diesels, and Pro Stock Tractors. So that's a good session, even if it's only 3. I mean, Pro Stock, Super Stocks, and Super Modified 2-wheel drive trucks. So wow.
Yeah, if you look at the history of Louisville and some of the big performances and classes, I mean, I've been there. There were many years where you'd have some pull-offs and things like that in the preliminaries, and I think that's probably something they won't do a whole lot of. In those preliminaries, just digging in to qualify for the finals and make Saturday night a big deal. And, they're going to have lots of vehicles to usher in and out of Broadbent Arena, which will be, I think, a new logistic challenge for them, because a lot of times they, have been able to know exactly where the format is and have their diagram, and the guys on their tractors have it memorized and know. So this year, with bringing in some different classes to compete on Wednesday night and Thursday night and usher those tractors in and out, I think that'll be a little bit unique as well. I'm anxious to walk into Broadbent on Wednesday and see just how everything's laid out there as you get ready for 4 classes of competition there on Wednesday night. So, it's like I said, I think I'm excited when you think about just how much they've done and how many changes they've made. And I think originally the idea of 7:30 was because you wanted to give people an opportunity to leave their booth and get it cleaned up and picked up, and then get out and grab something to eat, and then get back to the Fair Expo Center to be able to watch the show. But I think the other side of that is they've realized that if they can make it a little tighter, then they can get those guys back and turn the show. And so realistically, the opening ceremonies with introductions with the guy from Syngenta and driver introductions and all that stuff will likely occur around 6:45 or so, with lead in to 7 o'clock first tractor rolling down the track.
Okay. So when is your dad all set to announce him and Dave Bennett again? Is that the plans for 2017?
I would say so. I think that's, in place to be there. And obviously Dave and he have been working together for, about 8 years or so. And Dave has brought a lot to the show with his knowledge of the Outlaws and the tractors that he sees on, as he refers to it, his side of the river. And I think, Dave and Dad have really started to mesh and mold together very well. Last year they did a good job of filling the time and the space that they had, and they've worked very well. And after the first few years, it's just kind of learning how to work with one another. And, as an announcer, that's how it is. You kind of have to see the person you're working with and understand kind of how they're going to do things and what their approach will be. And I think they've really kind of hit their stride with where they've been the last several years.
That's awesome. So, how many years have you been to the national? How long have you been going to National Farm Machinery Show, Paul?
I think the first year I went was probably '83.
Okay.
And since then, I think I have probably missed 2 years, maybe. I missed 1 year when I was living in Cape Girardeau, coaching at Southeast Missouri. I missed 1 season there, and then I think I missed 1 year when I was in college because I was at a track meet with my team. So, of all of those opportunities, 30-some-odd years I've been going, and I've missed 2. So, it's like I said, we don't get any closer really to home for an event, and it's a perfect venue and a place where I can go and visit with my pulling friends and visit with some of my hometown friends and get a chance to listen to Dad and continue to learn from him and Dave and interact with people from the circuit. It's I grew up talking to Billy Joe Miles and some of the Owensboro boys and witnessing all the things that they did, and it also gives me a chance to be home with my brother and interact with him and see him, and I don't get home very often, so it's just good to be there and have kind of my roots right with me.
Colin Ross wants to know who your favorite super stock diesel puller is.
Oh man, I guess that's a twofold thing. If we're going to current super stock diesel pullers, I'll just have to probably I don't know. I'll have to think about that one exactly, because that's put me on the spot. I mean, obviously I'm a fan of Colin and Jody's, and if you look at my new Miles Beyond 300 T-shirts, the King's on there.
The King, Esden Lane.
My favorite color is orange, so I can't shy away too far from Braden and Brian. And the reality of it is in the last several years, I've probably gotten closer with the super stock diesel tractor class than any class out there. I have become close with the Ross family and the Blagrave brothers and their family, and Brian and Braden and Jeff Demers from out in Iowa, and so there's just a whole bunch of super stock diesel guys that I've always enjoyed, and I think about the history and the time of watching and seeing all of these things unfold, and obviously the roots of it. I was a big fan of Tom Dickerson. I used to love to watch Tom Dickerson pull and see him run his tractor, and Rob Russell, of course, and now when I get to see him and announce for him when he brings his pro stock tractor to events, it's always neat and kind of takes me back to those days when I used to sit and watch him run. So there's a whole bunch of super stock tractors I've always loved, but just because Colin asked the question, I'll say I'm a big fan of the Rosses too.
Hick's next comment was a winky smiley face, so I think he was setting you up a little bit. So maybe for a Christmas present
Absolutely.
or something, Miles. So absolutely.
If Lily ever gets to drive, then she'll be the one I'm cheering for, because I've been pushing for the Rosses to put Lily in the seat. But Colin told me there was a plan in place for Lily to get some seat time and get a chance to do some driving. I'm all about that. That's one of the things I'd love to do sometime, is promote a powder puff type pull. I want to see Misty Lustick get her chance in the Bullet, and some of these wives that have worked so tirelessly and spent so much time working out there on the tractors and doing the things that they do, turning wrenches. I want them to get a chance to do some driving and be out front. So that's what I'm going to keep pushing for and keep hammering these guys for when they get a chance. One of the questions, I met the Van Genderen family in 2006 when I started touring with the Outlaws a little bit. And I've probably asked that question to the Van Genderen boys every year for the last 11 years. When does Mama Cindy get a chance? And so every time I see them, I ask that question, because I want to see her drive one of those pro stocks. I mean, she drives the rig for them up and down the road. She's constantly with them. She's reading the track with them and doing all kinds of things with making suggestions. I think she should get to drive. So,
she's awesome. She's awesome, Miles. I pulled with them back in my East Central Iowa days. That's how I got started, back in the 3,000 RPM, 10 mile an hour days. And back they had I think it was a 4430, and I had my 856. And I've known that family for a long, long time. So a lot of good memories with the Van Genderens. So good to see them come a long way. So.
Yeah, that's one of those things. Like I said, I'm always pushing, trying to get the wives a chance to drive too. Because as an announcer, you think that's pretty neat to be able to build it up. I mean, I just think about what it would be like for Misty Lustick to get a chance to come out. And for years I used to say the same sort of thing to Jared Nelson or to Jeremy Nelson, and now you look at what their wives have done in their short time.
Yeah, they've done okay. They've done okay.
Yeah, they've gone out and done awesome. So, both of those ladies will be driving at the Farm Machinery Show, and so will Ashley Corzine and people like that whose husbands built them a truck and gave them a chance. and they've gone out and turned all kinds of heads.
You got lots of comments coming on. Travis Schlaubaugh's wife drove the Natural Born Thriller this past summer in Marengo. That's like a hot farm tractor. I know Brandon's got some videos of that tractor. That's part of that's Ryan Seek's 1066. So that's good to know. So the Super Stock Diesel champion there. So ask Miles when he's going to drive the mod. Oh yeah. Hey Steve Boyd, can I drive your mod? Hey boss, when can I drive the mod? Jamie's always up to
Never.
Never.
That is one thing. My brother has asked me for years, and about 4 years ago, he got a chance to take a ride in a 2-wheel drive truck. The Austin family, Jeremy had dreamed about that, and the Austin family put him in the Raising Cane truck, and he got a chance to drive. But I've had years of going up and down the road with my good friends and watching pulling, and that is just not something I have ever had that burning desire to do. I guess I'm too fearful I'll break something, and then what do? You're the announcer that drove once and broke something. So instead, I'll just stand out and act like I know what I'm talking about and watch you guys do it and enjoy the show.
Austin Boyd says, come on, Miles.
Yeah, well,
maybe we can start you out with a tractor.
Start him out on a garden tractor? I like Miles' approach. You don't have to put yourself out there, because I still get picked on a lot. Everybody knows Brent Gaffney's a better driver of our team. It's no, without doubt, Gaffney's the man and our team. And it's like I tell Gaffney all the time, it sucks. I pay for everything, but he's a better driver. But I've accepted it. Gaffney's the man. And last year, Miles in 2015 Warren, Illinois. Second time I think I ever drove the tractor. Laid a really good pass out there, but it kind of went left to right a little bit, and I turned it down. And I would have won the class, okay, Miles? And Stacy Butson has never let me forget it the rest of my life. And the next poll we went to, I was like the last puller in the class, and the Badger State flag guy said, are you keeping it or are you turning it down? They wouldn't even hook me to the sled, so they pick on me all the time about that, Miles. So, but that's okay. That's all part of it. That's what makes it fun. We're all good friends. All good friends. So, hey, Miles.
Yeah, that's part of it.
Hey, let's. We're gonna let you go. How do you want to summarize the National Farm Machinery Show? That was the purpose of having you on here, and I really appreciate. The predictions, because what it did was it got people thinking about the National Farm Machinery Show, and I've never been so excited in my life to go get the mail. And my wife even said, "What? You don't want to go get the mail anymore?" And I haven't. I don't even care if the mail comes anymore. Now that we got that letter, because I don't. Just like you talked about the National Farm Machinery Show. I watch those pullers out there on that track, and they dim the lights, and the Lee Greenwood song comes on. And, I'm going to be part of that now, and I'm pretty excited about that. And you know what I mean? It's going to be pretty awesome to be part of that. So,
yeah, I'm not even a puller, and sitting there in the media area or in the bleachers in the seats when I was a younger boy. I mean, I kind of get the chills just enjoying it and taking it all in and watching it. And so it's from my perspective. It's my favorite pull. I love going to pulls outdoors, and I think it's one of those deals at the time that it occurs. Obviously, you haven't seen all your pulling friends for 4 or 5 months really, and they all are here, and they all show up with all their stuff waxed up, and all the tractor tires are wrapped in wrap, and they're there, and best of show type of idea, and they're there to go out and test what they've done, show off what they've learned on the dyno and the things that they've done. And from my perspective as a fan and as an announcer and as somebody who, considers themselves to be a part of the media writing articles for the show, I love it. It is what it is. I get a chance to absorb it all, and positive experiences always. I enjoy sitting down there in the front row with Jake Morgan and Jesse Post and Dick Morgan and Brian Lively and Jennifer from Full Pull and catching up with them on what they saw the year prior, all the pulling experience. So they've taught me a lot. I've learned a lot about the pull. As you start to think about just in general, every event that you go to as a fan, that's the one I want to go to. And obviously the guy you're going to be talking to on the phone next, he kind of has opened doors for me and paved the road for a lot of the places that I go as an announcer. And his event coming up in January has become something that everybody wants to win as well. It's not just a just an event anymore. It's something that you get to build on your resume and grow with. And so for me, if you're a fan, if you're kind of on the fence as to whether or not you want to make the trip to Louisville, I encourage you to do so and get there early so you can walk through Broadbent and talk to the pullers and get an autographed hero card and grab some peanuts and just kind of visit for a little bit, because that's where the majority of everybody that's a fan hangs out and just kind of chills and sits right there. And my goodness, the hours and hours of discussion that have occurred in that building over the last 48 years. Louisville celebrates number 49 this year. Pretty awesome deal.
It's amazing. Miles, it's always great talking to you, and I'm sure we'll touch base a lot more between now and Gordyville, but I look forward to announcing with you and your brother and your dad at Gordyville. It's going to be a lot of fun, and just can't wait. And you have a safe and happy holiday, and we love having you on the show, and you take care, bud.
Well, thanks for everything that you do for pulling and for all the folks with Beer Money, and thanks for trying to help grow the sport. Congrats to you on being one of the selected tractors. That's no joke. Obviously, you guys have made the cut, and that cut was very, very challenging to be at. So
it truly is
be proud of that.
It truly is an honor. Yes,
absolutely. Now just get down there and don't overthink it and bury it in the sand.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
Talk to you later, Miles.
We'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Bye. All right, I'm going to go cough a little bit. If you want to.
Don't die on us, okay? So that was Miles Krieger with Miles Beyond 300. We have Klint Tucker coming up. What's Smoking Promotions as Jason gets a little bit of break. Still getting over some sickness from a couple weeks ago. And again, just glad to have you along here at Let's Grow Pulling as we get set for the winter pulling season. Of course, this week, big week for the Badger State Tractor Pullers as we have our annual banquet coming up on Saturday. As well, getting everything prepared for that. A great season with the Badger State Pullers this year. 2 new classes we're excited to debut with the Badger State Pullers. We added the 540 Light Pro Stocks and the Pro Mod Semi class, as well as we'll get to crown our champions this coming Saturday night up in the Dells, and a great party as well. Always a good time with them. Again, Klint Tucker coming up next year on Let's Grow Pulling. That was...
I'm done hacking.
You're done hacking now? Okay,
right.
That's good. As Jason gets him on the phone, as we'll get set, everything changed around here for Klint.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood.
Yeah, that mic's not going to work for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Tucker, how are you, buddy? Can you hear me, Clint? Clint?
Hello, man.
Can you hear me, man?
Yes, I can. How you guys doing this evening?
Good. We're just living the dream. We just got done talking to Miles Krieger, did a big National Farm and Machinery Show roundup, and now we're talking to the legend Klint Tucker, Gordyville. And it's all about Gordyville. Miles even talked about you a little bit and said good things about you, which was odd. So, I don't want you to get a big head or anything. So.
Me and Miles been through a lot of pulls.
That's what he said. That's what he said. I cannot kick this cold, Clint. Man, it is kicking my butt.
I figured after you got your acceptance letter to the big dance, you drank enough whiskey this weekend, you might have killed it.
I've been laying off the whiskey. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of saving it up for Gordyville. So. No, been trying. I haven't even felt good enough to drink whiskey. That's how crappy I've been feeling. And you know me better than that. So. But hey, glad to have you on the phone. Saw your big announcement on Pull Off today about the big Pro Stock prediction. I copied it. I threw it up on Beer Money Pulling Team right away on the Facebook page for you to get some word out about that. So why don't you talk about the Pro Stocks a little bit, kind of what you got going on there, and I'll have Ryan throw that up there as well if you want to go to the Facebook page.
Well, we're getting a lot of guys kind of calling and getting interested now because as the fall's kind of winding down here, some of the pro stock guys are beginning to be interested in coming and pulling with us. As they get their letters back from the farm show as well, some of them, if they don't get accepted down there, they just basically rebuild for the winter. But for some of our loyal guys that's been coming every year, and we kind of did something a little different. Trying to get them to compete both nights, Friday and Saturday. We used to do qualifier in the finals for the pro stocks, and it's worked out great. But a couple years there was on Saturday night we didn't quite have the show that we wanted, so we talked it over amongst all the board guys, and of course we always try to figure out the almighty dollar might turn their heads, and that's our attempt this year. The team deal, I think a lot more confused on, but I guess it's my job to explain to them how it's going to work, and we're starting that process now. I think we're going to have probably about an 10 or 12. Hopefully, in the next couple of weeks we can add to the list, and it'll be some good pulling. I mean, I think we've got the Outlaw champion now there, and I think we're going to get the NTPA points champion there, and I just need to work on the PPL one. But in Michigan, I need to contact those guys and see what they're thinking. I know they do a little bit of farming up there, so they might be busy, but yeah,
just a little bit.
So
just a little bit.
We'll do our job and reach out to everybody and try to get as many down the track for our fans as we can, and see if it'll work.
Well, I like it a lot. So I love it. I love what you're doing. You're being innovative. You're doing different things to keep it involved. And but Gordyville isn't about pro stocks. Let's be honest. It's about Gordyville is the Louisville for all the classes that don't have a Louisville. That's what's made Gordyville unique. You know what I mean?
That's exactly right. And this weekend we actually had our first board meeting of the winter. We got together and we had some classes that were getting pretty big, and we split them up. The 85 Limited Pro on Thursday, the 9,000 Super Farm on Friday afternoon, and the 4-1 class, your class, on Friday night. We split those up to make them a little bit better to hopefully increase the level of competition. Proud to say that I think most of the guys that's going to Louisville are going to be involved with us, and the ones that aren't, I want to reach out to and see if they want to come and make a pass with us there over the weekend, and see what we can make all that work.
So what are you doing with the Limited Pros then with our class Friday night?
What number are you in the lineup, or I guess I understand?
No, okay. So I see you got Flight 1 and Flight 2.
Yeah, I got Flight 1 and Flight 2, and how that'll work is the first flight will pull directly behind the pro stocks. They'll probably run the big 11,000 Pro Farm finals, and then we'll run the second flight.
Okay. And you'll pull the top half out each one of those for the finals then?
Top 4.
Top 4?
Top 4.
Okay, so
you
really have to have your crap together. Well, good luck to everybody. Good luck to everybody.
Yeah. Also, while I got you guys on the phone tonight, I want to encourage the Badger State Pro Farms. We don't have any of them entered, and we actually separated that Pro Farm class up. I mean, they all pull at the same time, but I think there's some confusion there. Because we have such a vast horsepower difference between the big monsters from the southern part of the United States, the Ileana and ITPA tractors, and Badger State, they can't get on the same page as far as turbo rules. So we've kind of got those guys all plastered together, but we're going to run them different. We're going to run the sled different. They're not pulling against each other. We're going to start out with the Badger State, and then add a little weight for the ITPA tractors and Ileana tractors, and add a little bit more weight for the southern monsters because they have no cubic inch limit and no turbo limit. So I think some of the Badger State guys were confused that they had to compete, at the same sled setting and everything, but that's not the case. I mean, each individual third of that class is going to be competing against each other, not the rest of the class, and they'll be paid accordingly. And the top 4 from each version goes to the final. So hopefully that clears things up, and we can get a few of the Badger State guys to enter, because we did this for the Badger State guys. That they didn't want to buy another turbo and go to Ingle King's Dyno and beat on them, for a month to get them up to the level of everybody else.
To the 640 Pro Farm guys this Saturday at the banquet?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And let them know that they're basically going to be running against each other, not against the big boys.
They're not
the
against the big ones.
Big cube guys. So.
And we did it specifically for them to give them a place where they can come down and run. Now, I think there's a couple Iowa tractors just jumping in there to have a little fun. And I think there's going to be a couple more Illinois tractors. They're trying to find a smooth bore turbo they can jump in there with them. The smaller cubic inch ones, just wind them up a little tighter. And I think it'll work out great. We just got to get everybody on the same page. And the that's a nice service that you provide. Is we get the information out there if they just listen.
Yeah. Hey, Clint, Colin Ross is watching the show right now. He's wondering if super stock diesel tractors are allowed to join in the pro stock class.
Well, I like to see it. I mean, we had Travis there a couple years ago. If he wants to jump on a team, he sure as heck can.
Yeah, that would be pretty awesome to have the triple bypass tractor there, the Grand National Champion there. That'd be pretty neat. So,
yeah.
Colin,
he could hook 3 times that weekend if he wants to.
Okay. Well, Colin, you heard it from the man himself, so that'd be awesome to have you there. So, get a lot of positive comments, Clint, about Gordyville.
I don't think Clint's going to turn down a tractor.
No, yeah, Clint doesn't turn down tractors, and again,
especially a super stock diesel.
Yeah, and that's again another thing that makes Gordyville great. But you're getting a lot of great comments on Gordyville, that it's an experience, it's more than an event. Amy Jo Estes had a great comment on there. Lori Guthrie, Gordyville is one big party for 4 days. Everybody loves Laura. Amanda Stern, Badger State guys have already been a good show down there. So it's time for a few other groups to step up. Oh, Amanda. No, I understand. The 640 Pro Farm guys, I understand a couple years ago, but I like what you're doing now, Clint. You know, you're trying to work it out, so you're making it all happen.
Well,
so
I just didn't want the guys, because, you know, Bill Smith and Scott Burkhart and Nick Cunningham and all the guys, they sort of come down the first year, and they made a name for themselves, and I want to keep those guys involved. I know Bill's on up 4-1, but Scott and Nick's still there, and I know Bill's tractor's still actively involved with Badger State. I just want to give them guys a place every winter that they can come and compete and not have to spend a king's ransom to come do it, and that was our purpose in that decision. But hopefully it'll work all out. I mean, everybody else is really excited about it.
That makes it great. So, you know, like Eric Pruitt just says, best atmosphere of all polls. And there's so many different organizations combined there, you know. And that's what's great about, we moved the show over to Facebook 3 weeks ago, Clint. You know, the show tonight's reached 63,000 people already tonight. And we never had those kind of numbers before on the podcast and stuff like that. And that's what's been nice about bringing the show to Facebook. It's easier for everybody to find it. I'm still working on bringing it back to a podcast after the show. You know, the live show will be on Monday nights, but then we're going to pull it off of the, you know, off of Facebook, put it up on a YouTube video, and bring this out to a podcast. So people did miss the show, they still can't listen to it. But what Facebook has allowed us to do, I mean, it's kind of, it allows us to really just to get out to the masses like that. And you know, for you to come on the show, and Miles, and to get the word out here for an events like this. And, you know, we're a big fan of yours, big fan of Gordyville. And that's just, we're really, really proud that we're able to do this. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Not as a, got a lot of people watching, got a lot of people participating, got a lot of Gordyville fans out there. So I just kind of want to throw that quick plug in there for me, for Let's Grow Pulling. How about that? A little plug for me here, Clint. There, sorry about that, Clint. Little Jason time, So, but let's talk about Friday a little bit. Ryan, would you put up the Friday? We're starting at noon on Friday. Again, great prices for this event. $82 for the whole weekend if you buy them now. You can't beat that. Thursday night, Friday afternoon, Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and Saturday night. What do we got starting at noon on Friday, Ryan? 11,000 pound Pro Farm, 9,000 pound limited Pro Stock, 9,000 pound Super Farm, 9,500 pound Pro Farm Finals, 10,000 pound Pro Farm Finals, and then the 9,500 pound Hot Farm. Is that session 3 then? Can you scroll down here on the screen over here for me? We'll just look at his website. Put the website right up on the screen for the fans. So we're looking at whatsmoking.net right now for all you fans that are following along on Facebook. We're talking to Clint Tucker right now on the phone. If you have a question for Clint, please type it in the comments and we can ask Clint. So let's scroll up a little bit. That's Friday evening. So Friday during the day. Look at my pullers are in these classes. Like Clint was talking about that. So you see the 10,000 Pro Farm Finals. The qualifiers are going to come from Thursday. 11,000 pound Pro Farm. We got about 15, 20 tractors in that class.
Yeah, we got about 15 or 20 in that one right now. If we can get 5 or 6 more Badger State tractors in there, that'll just polish that off perfect.
And that's what you were just asking me to work on this Saturday, right, at the banquet?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And then we'll go into our 9,000 pound limited pro, which that's the light pros. And
that's our 540. That's our 540 any turbo class, right?
Yep. And
so
there's
the Power Hound
guys.
Is the Power Hound in there?
The Power Hound. I need to call Gary. I think he got invited. He got invited to Cloverdale, and I
Okay.
think he's going to skip us, go to Cloverdale, but I'm not done yet. I'm going to try to guilt him in coming.
What's that one tractor I love with the gray wheels? The gray wheels that always does so good at Gordyville.
Oh, the McCormick. Yeah.
Shoot.
Yeah.
It's slipping my mind.
He pushes snow, and I talked to him, and he said if it looks like good weather, he might sneak in there.
Zach
at a
Howell's on
last-minute
there now. Because we shamed Zach Howell to get his paperwork in last week. Who else do we need to shame tonight?
We had Matt Durbin. You know, he had that catastrophic disaster at Keystone, and we got Matt back involved, and Greg
Lamb's on there. Good.
Yep, Greg's going to try to get some stuff.
Brittany Ball's got a light pro?
Is that?
Brittany Ball's got a light pro?
Well, there's some super farms in there, too.
Okay.
We let the super farms weigh 9,500 pounds in there against the light pros weighing 87. And then the guys from out east with the A pumps on, they can weigh 92, and it's a nice little blend.
Yeah, and I got to see them for the first time outdoors, Klint, when I went out and I worked with Chuck Migalanti flew me out there to New York, and I watched the poll in Greenwich, New York this summer. And I got to see the A pump guys versus the super farm guys outdoors. So
yeah, you know,
and
that's kind of interesting.
I invited all of them out to Gordyville, so good to see there.
Sure.
So then you got your super farm flight 1, your 9,000 super farm, which is a lot of our 466 guys. I recognize a lot of those names.
That's when the 9,000 super farm that was specifically designed for the Badger State hot farms, and they do battle with my Western Series 85 Limited Pros, the ITPA 85 Limited Pros. Basically, they all got the same motors in them. Badger State runs a little bit bigger fuel pump than the rest of them, but it's a nice little mix. Been getting a lot of phone calls today and all over the weekend about our fuel and water policy in these classes, and we really don't Bible thump the fuel. You know, we let them run the biofuel at Gordyville, but we do and sell them the water injection water to all classes, and we will be checking water frequent this year. I got Dirk Drury, Badger State tech official. He'll be on my water cop, and if you buy water from us, I heavily suggest that you put it in the tractor.
You think? Hey, Clint, Brian Cruz wants to know how many cigarettes you've smoked while you've been talking to us tonight.
No, none so far. I'm in the house working on videos that Ryan and I have made.
Okay, fair enough. And Miles wants to know when the wet smoking binder's coming back. I know you and I've talked about this.
Yeah, Kevin Summers, he's never pulled inside yet. I haven't reached out to Kevin. I'd love to have him come back. And that tractor never made a good pass in that building. Maybe he's afraid of the curse.
Yeah, I understand. All right, let's move on to Friday night then. 10,000-pound pro stock. We got Greg Harmon, Gage Porter, Ken Couch, Russell Bolsa Jr., Alan LeGrand, David Justison, Patrick Justison, Philip Parrish, Robbie Lemke, Cody Shea. So you got 10 so far.
That's the 10 that sent their paperwork in.
Okay.
I have talked to Rodney Snitker. They're bringing 2, maybe 3. I've talked to Tim Shipley. I think they're going to bring 2. And I've talked to Carlton Cope. Carlton's trying to build a Light Pro V8, and he's got all the stuff there. He's going to try to get it together. He says if he gets that together, he's going to bring both of them. So that'll liven things up.
You think? That would be the coolest thing in the world.
Hopefully he can get her done and get her out there with that. Randy Barreau is trying diligently to develop a Badger State team of pro stocks to come down.
I talked to him this morning, so I know he is working on that. Randy Barreau from Baraboo.
Yep, he's trying to get a Badger State pro stock class. Sounds like he's got about 3. He's looking for a couple more partners.
I know he's invited to Louisville with his tractor, so I know he's working on that too.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Well, I think everybody that's getting their Louisville paperwork, they're kind of, looking it all over and seeing if they can come. But I think it's going to be a good deal. I don't think the fans will be disappointed. We'll have some pro stocks here for them to watch. And then after the pro stocks are done, then here you guys roll in.
Yep.
With the 4-1s, and we got 2 flights of them.
Ooh.
And that's going to be some pretty. We'll start the night off with the super farms.
Yep.
We're gonna have a pile of super farms because a lot of the guys that got in Louisville, I think a couple of them are shocked. So now they're like, oh my God, we better go to Gordyville and get our ducks in a row, because there's a couple of guys that got in down there that haven't been in a while. And then there's some guys that thought they should have got in and they didn't, so now they're kind of aggravated and they want to come to Gordyville and beat the guys that did get in.
Hey, how many 4-1s did we have at Gordyville last year? What, 17, 18? Does that sound about right?
Yeah, we had about 17 or 18 last year, and
Got
we were a little
29
disappointed.
so far.
We were a little disappointed with the numbers, and we're at 29 right now, and I know of about 4 more that have reached out to me that are trying to get their stuff together.
Okay.
So we will those draw numbers will shift, up and down as the computer throws them in there.
Yep.
Roger Scalzo from northern Wisconsin, I think he's planning on coming down with his new deer.
Yep, bad to the bone.
Jason By's trying to get his motor redone.
Yep, Stormin' by, that's a good runner.
Yeah, I got Quentin Hartman in there with one. I think he's bringing both of them.
Yep.
So, I mean, we're going to gain a few more. And like I said, I'm gonna reach out to Rick Scheibe. He was fortunate enough to get one of his mean orange tractors into Louisville. I'm gonna reach out to him, see if he wants to bring 1 or 2 of them out there. And
his limited pro made Louisville.
Yep, he made her.
Wow, awesome.
So there'll be 1 orange one there.
Awesome.
And I forgot, I talked to the Dublin boys when I was out at the PPO Western Series banquet, and they said they might have Elvin talked into letting them drag it out in the cold this winter. So
yeah, because Elvin's not a big fan of the indoor pulling. He's made that very, very clear to me in the past. But hey,
yeah, he pretty much hates it. But I think Chad and Todd, I think, are thinking about dragging it out. I think they just want to come for the party.
Yeah, good.
But so we're going to get our pro stocks. We're going to get everybody. We're kind of hustling everybody to get their stuff to us or contact us here in the next 7 days, because Brian Lively's doing our program. He'd like to have as accurate numbers as he can get for the program, but we'll still take that applications within reason. A couple more 4-1s. The Wild Boys from Northwest Missouri, Northwest Iowa. They called me today with the small block and big block deers, or text me today and want to know when's the latest they could get in, because I think they might come, which I'd like to see those guys on our little short black track. I think they'd figure it out pretty quick too. So
awesome.
We're getting some tractors that has never been here before interested, which that's great. That's our job.
That's what it's all about.
And of course, then we got a couple finals classes. We'll have to probably run one of them in between the 2 fights with the 4-1, and then we'll hopefully be done by midnight, and everybody can go get some sleep. Which
that doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen, but we try.
You try. You pretend. It's always a thought.
Pretend.
It's always a thought. I'm telling you, 10 o'clock comes really early at Gordyville.
Yeah.
Or 9.
Well, the key is to get started on time, and that's we got to get the Friday session through the building, and that way we can get the track turned around, because our track preparation for Friday night is pretty tedious, because that's when we got to put the water in and the concoction that makes the mud sticky, and because when you bring the high horsepower tractors like the Pro Stock tractor, you got to have conditions perfect or it's a mess.
Rusty Orth says sleep is overrated. Yes, it is, Rusty. So, hey, okay. What's the big thing pressing Clint's head this week before we let you go? Like Gordyville.
What's that?
What's the one thing that's like on your mind about Gordyville this week that you want to get out to people?
Well, I mean, the big thing we're working on this week is just getting the classes full. We send out a few of the AGCO invites to some of the orange tractors that haven't entered yet. We sent those out this week, so a lot of orange guys will be getting those. If they got any questions, give me a call. But we're just trying to get our Pro Stock class organized, get the guys on the teams, and get them in the program. That way the fans can follow along and understand what we're doing. I mean, that's the thing we're concentrating on right now. And then we're still accepting applications for all the other classes. So.
Cool. Hey, Andrew Hartman just typed into Facebook that in the comments he will be there with both tractors. So you'll have both Hartman tractors there. So
Cool.
Cool.
I mean, that's great. I mean, I got some phone calls this weekend. We're gonna we'll probably talk about it next week, but we're going to have a few more light diesel supers to really wake everybody up with on Saturday morning.
Awesome.
And we got some pretty stout ones coming too.
That's awesome. Hey, before we let you go, Clint, how are the diesel trucks coming? Is that coming along nice? Is Hill doing his job, or do you need me to beat him up a little bit?
Well,
I will. I'll buzz down to Platte City and punch him for you.
Hill said he emailed his Puller profile to me. I'm trying to clean it up so I can put it on the internet.
His face or the words?
Not the most politically correct one I've ever received, but I'll clean it up and get him a number drawn here this week sometime. But yeah, we finally got our first Eastern truck, and now we're looking for 3 more, and that's his job. He's supposed to find 3 more guys to pull with him, but we're excited. You know, a lot of kids have called me and wanted to know who's coming, and because them guys have a pretty loyal fan base.
Yes,
they have a fan base. It's a whole different bunch of groupies than what we are.
Yes, they are.
And it's a nice blend. And then everybody keeps saying, "Well, will you expand it in the future?" Well, I don't know. We got a lot of tractors, but like I've said several times on your program, this is our indoor pull we're doing now. We're looking at different buildings. We will be doing some more pulls in the future in different facilities, and diesel pickup trucks will be involved. So just hang with us. We'll have something for them eventually. I don't think Gordyville. I don't think we want to open up a 2.5 class because that could get interesting, or a 3.0 open to the world class because we just don't have that kind of room. But we're really tickled with what Jason's done for us, and we're excited to put them down the track, and hopefully everything works, and it'll be something everybody will enjoy on Saturday afternoon.
Well, we at least know 2 trucks that would definitely show up.
Yeah, I think, like you said, you don't want to. I think 8 is fine. I think 8 is fine. You know what I mean? Cole Matthews is coming. Somebody just typed in to the Facebook page.
Yep.
I think that's probably Hill. Yeah, that's Hill because he's one of our admins on our page. So
and Jason did a good job by not having all Dodges. He's got some Chevys in the mix. He's looking for some more Chevys to put on the eastern side. It'll work out great.
Yep.
I mean,
I do too. I like picking. He's one of my good friends. I like picking on him a lot, no matter what I can do, especially if I can hammer him. We got 83,000 people who've reached the show tonight, so that's a good whack. If we can rip on him in front of that many people, why not? That's what friends do. But no, Gordyville is tractor pulling. It always has been. Yeah, ding dong. Yeah, that's our boy. A little applause there for everybody. But Gordyville's about pulling, tractor pulling. It always has been, Clint. But it's good to mix it up a little bit. I like how you're doing it on Saturday afternoon. So, Clint, keep up the good work, buddy. We'll talk to you again next Monday.
All right, buddy. We'll talk about Saturday.
Yep.
We'll talk about Saturday next week, and hopefully I'll have some of the Friday stuff kind of boxed in and perfected, and we'll keep on trucking.
Perfect. Thanks, boss.
Hey, thank you guys. Have a good evening.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, so Clint Tucker on the phone with us there. Great guest as always, and this is our best show we've ever had on Facebook. Ryan, we just clicked on the stats again and look at people tonight. So I don't know if you want to, before we close out with our song, the Joey James song. I want to click on it. What was the most popular state tonight?
Sure.
For our insights. How do we do that? We got to figure out how to do all this stuff. Is it on this one? No, it'll be on the Chrome one. Right. Our live one there. Oops.
Oh boy.
We just killed the show. Did we just kill the show?
I don't know.
Did we just kill the show?
I think we actually have to hit end show.
So we'll see if we killed the show or not. So I'm not sure if we killed the show or not. Ryan and I are still figuring things out here, but we want to leave you tonight with want to thank Miles Krieger. I want to thank Miles Krieger for being a great guest and talking about the National Farm Machinery Show with us.
Nope, we're still live.
We're still live? Cool.
I think.
I'm not sure if we are or not. Yeah, hit play. See what happens. I'm not sure if we killed the show or not. Ryan?
No,
we're still alive. Okay, good.
We actually have to end.
We're good. We're good. But we can. Is it settings? We're doing so good. And I asked you to do something, and we screwed it all up. But anyway, we had a great guest tonight. Miles Krieger does a good job talking about the National Farm Machinery Show. We heard the passion in his voice when it comes to that. We also talked about Clint Tucker a little bit, but just. What a great event. Great show tonight. National Farm Machinery Show. Gordyville, less than 40 days away, Ryan. I hope everybody had a really, really good
View.
Thanksgiving. I want to see the
5,163.
states if we can do that.
Yep, bring it
Like
up
we did
now.
that one time. And then Joey James, Joey James Band. I think the website joeyjames.com.
We'll talk about Saturday
I
next.
want to see. That. Let's see. How do we do the states? Like we did before. Top audience. Oh, Missouri won tonight. Missouri 13%. That's the Packers. People are watching the Packers tonight over us.
2/10ths.
0.2%. So Missouri, Wisconsin, Illinois,
So
Ohio, and
Jason Hill
Kentucky.
dinged
Jason
in.
Hill, he
And-
brought his people in tonight
Yes.
with us. So.
Yes.
That's great. So I want to share a song. Joey James, he's official band of the Beer Money Pulling Team. We've teamed up with Joey James. We're doing some cross promotions with him. He's talking about the Beer Money Pulling Team at his concerts. We talk about Joey James Band on the Beer Money Pulling Team. Here's his new single, Drinking Here. You can buy it on iTunes. Have a good night, everybody. Ryan, good show.
We'll see you next week.
See you next Monday.
Barkeep, keep 'em coming. Jack Daniels is my best friend. I've sailed away with Captain Morgan every now and then. Bahama mamas with pink umbrellas and icy cold Corona, served by a hot senorita. Lord, that will suit me just fine. 'Cause I'm drunk and getting drunker. Well, I think she's almost out of my mind. And it hurts, that straight tequila, but nothing really compares than to lose the love you love and end up drinking here. Well, I've shot some wild turkey, been soothed by some southern comfort, and that Everclear has made it clear those memories are hard to drown. Those mixed drinks, they make me think, but I'll forget it all with the Jaeger bomb, a pretty little lady, and a good old country song. 'Cause I'm drunk and getting drunker. Well, I think she's almost out of my mind. And it hurts, that straight tequila, but nothing really compares than to lose the love you love and end up drinking here. And after each round I pray I'm knocked out, so sit down and have a drink. 'Cause I'm ready, are you ready? I'm ready to get drunk and sink. 'Cause I'm drunk and getting drunker. Well, I think she's almost out of my mind. And it hurts, that straight tequila, but nothing really compares. 'Cause I'm drunk and getting drunker. Well, I think she's almost out of my mind. And it hurts, that straight tequila,